Hi there, I'm Yvette.
And I'm Peter.
And this is our bus, Abby.
We're currently in the process of converting Abby from a 23-seat rental bus into a home away from home. This video will be part 1 of 2, covering the installation of our grey water and freshwater tanks. Right then, can't put it off any longer, let's get into it. Howdy folks, we're just a couple of days out from New Year's. Just thought I'd give you a few updates on what we've been up to lately. The most recent video I think we posted was for the floorboards, which was actually done a wee while back. Now I've just finished doing some paint touch-ups on the front here. It was mainly rust around the windscreen and a dent and that sort of carry on. I've done that. I didn't really video any of it because it's much the same as what was done at the back there, you know. Yeah, so last time we were doing the floorboards, so they're all down, except for the two, of course, we've talked about it before, that need to be sort of left loose for the water tanks to be put in. I'll show you what the floor looks like and also show you the water tanks. So that's my next job really, because we were planning on taking the bus away just to sort of give it a bit of a road test, sort of in about a week or so, or 10 days from now. Just chuck a mattress in it and go for a bit of a couple of days away. But I don't know if we're going to get there in time because I still need to get a COF and I still need to get the tanks in and the floorboards down before I can even take the bus down to see if we can get the COF. Yeah, I'll show you what we've done and what we're going to do in the next couple of days to hopefully get things on track. We've got all the boards down, those two in the middle are down but loose. I've also made up these two covers for the wheel arches. There's one on this side and of course one on that side. They're just sitting there at the moment, they're not attached. So here's our freshwater tank, which is going to go right about here. And that's just the Fiamma, the water filler that go on the outside. I've drawn up a plan of the way I want to mount them, which I'm going to use. I've got these aluminium 3mm aluminium angle right angled pieces. I think I've got 6 3-metre lengths there, but we shall see how that goes because I get the feeling it's probably going to need altering on the fly. Fresh water this side, grey water that side, and then that's the spot it's going to go in also. Yeah, I don't know how it will go with regards to my plan. We shall see. Okay, first I'm just going to try and place the grey tank in the hole, and I've got some bits and pieces down here just to chock it up, just to make sure it goes where I think it should go. So that's the spot. Anyway, there's a bit of room to play with around it. Yeah, so I guess I'll just try and see how I'm going to mount it and go from there. Before I could start on the mounting brackets, I had to cut away the lip that holds the floor so I had enough room to drop the tank down. Okay, so I'm just drilling up the holes at the moment for my bracing. This is going to be the main cross member that's going to hold all of the weight pretty much of the tank. Starting with the grey tank, I'm just going to drill out all the holes that I've already marked. I did that pretty much just by eye when I was in the bus, just to make sure that I didn't line up with anything that I couldn't get a nut on the back of, or anything sort of maybe sticking out that was going to be in the way. So I've marked them all, as you can see there. I'm going to now drill the holes out. I'm going to bolt these two together to give it a bit more strength. So the idea is that I'll be bolting this face to the structure of the chassis. Then I'm going to put my rods down through here to hold the bottom tray and therefore most of the weight of the tanks. So that's the idea. I've got one of these at each end of the tank with the rods going through, and the tray underneath, which I'll make up out of the same aluminium, 3mm aluminium. So I'm going to get started and yeah, so there we go. Once I was done with drilling holes in the hanging brackets, it was time to cut out the lengths that I needed to make up the tray. Next I had to go around and clean up the jagged edges on the cut ends, because we don't want to slice ourselves open. So here's the approximate plan of the tray part for the grey water tank. We'll have a wee look down here. So you can see this end here. I've got this is where my two studs are going to go into and actually hang from, and then this is going to bolt through here, and then the rest of the tray is going to hold the plywood sheet in here with a galvanized steel protection plate underneath it. So the whole tank is going to sit down inside this tray, hopefully, and then, like I say, hang from these two end pieces here and here. I haven't tried it in or anything yet. I haven't bolted together, so we'll just see where it goes to from here. I've made up most of the frame for the grey water tank, the first one, my experimental one. I'll show you what it looks like. This is not how it happened like from the get-go. The plan kind of just changed a little bit and got altered along the way. This that I'm going to show you is kind of like a bit of an evolution of what started out as my plan. So here we have the chassis of the bus, just here, and I've bolted this as my first bracket, which is going to be the bracket that everything hangs from, and that's bolted into the side of this chassis here. Just this 90mm 90 degree angle aluminium, 3mm thick, and I've doubled it up so there's two together, sandwiched together. So we've got a sort of a top and a bottom flange to sort of take some of the weight, and I've drilled all my holes and it's ready to pretty much go, this part, but I'm not going to tighten it up until I've got everything in place, including the tank, just to do a test run, and then we'll see it all fits and works. And then I'll probably put some Loctite on all those nuts and probably give it a coat in some black matte paint as well. And this is the tank beastie. Right, so we've got the tray assembly here that I've kind of just placed together at the moment. So I've got, again, this is like a sandwich together piece of 90 degree aluminium, 3mm thick. We've got one this side, one that side. So and bolted through here, here and here. Same at the other end. Then I've got these longer strips which are going to take, sort of spread the weight. They go from end to end, and they'll go under this end piece and bolt through. And they bolt through here and probably here in a minute. They'll probably, under here will be a piece of plywood which will fit right underneath the tank. Also sandwiched in there will be a piece of galv steel sheet to sort of just protect the bottom of the tank. I'm about to probably drill some holes here to bolt this together. Then I'm going to probably drill the holes in here for the rods to come through, and I will be ready to probably give it a go at hanging the tank to see where it sits, and then I'll see how long my rods need to be. I'm going to cut them a bit too long to start with, and then come back a bit from there if I need to. That's the plan. Let's go. So here's the tray. As you can see, we've got the one end where the hanger rods are going to go in here and here, and then down the other end, same sort of deal. Will be a hanger rod. I'll drill a hole through once I get in a position and see where the hole's going to go exactly. here and here somewhere. But inside here, I'm going to put a wooden 10mm ply board with a 1mm galv plate under it, and then hopefully that should spread the weight and also protect it from any road chips and stones and whatnot. You'll notice that in this corner I've had to sort of cut out a piece. That's because that's where my drain fitting is in the tank, but it's still able to get a bolt there. I think it'll be fine once you get the board in, because the board will, you know, like I say, it'll spread the weight all around these sides. Yes, I'll start cutting the board and we'll see how it looks. Right, so I've cut the board out. I've just marked out the board now with a hole here where I have to go through for my drain fitting in the bottom, and I've also made some little marks where I'm going to notch just so that the board slips in underneath the heads of these bolts, and the same at this end. Yeah, so I've just got to notch out here and here just to slip under there, and then I probably will have to mark and drill or countersink the heads of these bolts into the bottom of the board. Howdy. So I've got the frame all made up, all the components of it are made, and I've now done a black coat of paint on it all, so it's pretty much ready to go back together and go in the space for real. My next thing is pretty much to do that, to sort of bolt together everything that's going to stay together with Loctite thread locker. So this is the Loctite thread locker, which is just dribbles onto the thread. And once it's dry and the nuts are in the final position, it should stop it from rattling loose, which is kind of my main concern for it, being that it's on a bus and it's going to like shake around a little bit. I don't want anything to sort of rattle loose and come off at all at any stage. In addition to the thread locker, I'm also going to use, particularly on the threaded rods, I'm going to use like a double nut to sort of lock against the other nut. I'm going to have a nut, then in between there will be a washer and my aluminium angle, and then the other nut and washer on the other side of it, and I'll clamp them together so that they lock in place and don't come loose when we're on the road. I'll also put some thread locker on it as well, just so that it definitely won't come off. Is kind of the main goal. Yeah, so I'll have a run through now of putting it all into place. This is the grey tank, so I've partially cut my aluminium angles and everything to the right length for the freshwater tank, and I've still got to drill the holes and mark them and everything. I'll do that after I've got this one in place. So that's my next step, is to get the grey water tank in and essentially finalised, ready to go, and then I can move on to sorting out the freshwater tank. Right, the grey tank is in position, in its final position. It's pretty much all set in stone. The only thing I haven't really done is to silicone in the plugs and the fittings to go in there. I've just placed them in at the moment just to keep stuff from falling into the tank. But as soon as I figure out exactly what I want to do with the sizes of the fittings coming out, I will put them in and silicone them in place. Anyway, so I'll just show you how it sits at the moment. I've just cut out the holes for the top floor sheet, so that's done. I'm just waiting for the paint to dry on that so that I can fix that down at some point. But I'll show you, I guess, the finished article for the grey water tank. So here we have it from the top. So the grey tank is in place. I've put in this extra sort of strut on this side. There is also another one on the outside as well, which push up against the sides of the tank so that it doesn't move anywhere. Like it's solid as in there. It's not going to wriggle around, it's not going to pop out, and then when the floorboard sits down on top, it's not going to jump because it's pretty much as close as I could get it to the underside of the floor. And being that I painted all the framing black, it kind of looks like someone that knows what they were doing made it, so that's kind of what I was going for. And here's what you can see of the tank from the outside. It's a little bit lower than I was hoping for, but I think we should be okay. Just have to watch it going over speed humps and whatnot. Don't want to bottom out and lose it. Yeah, so this is from sort of the back end. It's yeah, it's all held in place. It's pretty sturdy, not wriggling around at all. It's the tray. So just that's the plug for our drain eventually. So that's all there is in the bottom of the tank for this grey water one, is just that plug. I'm going to put an elbow hopefully that runs back here with a valve on. And again, it's getting lower and lower with everything you add in there, but hopefully it's not going to hit anything too much.
That's all, folks.